The day was August the 14th of 2018, mere weeks after the release of the now infamous After Hours update. It started out like any other day in GTA Online, perfectly fair and balanced. We had Deluxos flying around peacefully, destroying bunker and MC deliveries. We had lasers gunning down newbies on the streets, griefers blowing up people with thermal scopes and explosive ammo. Good old-fashioned fun, right? Just as old Rockstar intended. And then, the first Oppressor MkII appeared on the horizon. It was fast, nimble, packed with enough firepower to level a city block, and it could spawn right next to you like any regular motorcycle. This was unlike anything the GTA community had ever experienced, and so everyone immediately scrambled to buy their own Oppressor MkII so they could fight fire with fire. And since Rockstar never lets a good gold rush go to waste, they cranked up the price on the Forbidden Broomstick while simultaneously nerfing it so people would stop complaining. Today, the year is 2025, and despite all the nerfs, the Oppressor MkII is still ridiculously strong. Only now, you need an eye-watering $8 million to own one of these things. And in this video, I'll show you how to get your hands on a missile-equipped Oppressor MkII on a brand new account with less than one single day of gameplay. Things aren't as simple as they seem, because unfortunately for us, the Oppressor MkII doesn't come with missiles pre-installed. So on top of the base price of $8 million, we need another $1,375,000 for a terabyte, and then we need a further $495,000 to install a specialized workshop so you can modify your freshly purchased Oppressor MkII. But we can't own a terabyte without a nightclub to store it in the first place. So that means we're spending a full $1.5 million on a nightclub as well before we even get to purchase our terabyte. And depending on if you get the trade price for the Oppressor or not, all of this comes out to a rough total of $10 to $12 million, or exactly one Megalodon shark card, which as we all know is worth $100. And that's basically a day's worth of minimum wage, which is going to be a massive challenge for us because we're trying to achieve all this entirely through gameplay without spending a single real-life dollar. Before we begin this challenge though, let's establish a few rules. First, this is going to be on a regular copy of GTA 5 Online without the Criminal Enterprise starter pack, which gives you a bunch of free stuff, including a free motorcycle club, bunker, CEO office, and 10-car garage. Also, to make things more difficult, I'll be designing this guide for someone who doesn't have the advantage of using the career builder that you get with the expanded and enhanced edition of GTA 5. There are two reasons for this. First, by using the career builder's $4 million cash influx, you can buy yourself a nightclub and a terabyte for free before you even begin this challenge, so it's kind of cheating. Secondly, the career builder is a one-time thing and it's only available once per Rockstar account. Besides, anyone on previous gen consoles doesn't have access to the career builder anyways, and my guide is for all players, old as well as new, so I won't be using the career builder to give myself an unfair advantage. But alright, with these ground rules out of the way now, it's time to move on to the actual challenge. And here's the game plan. We're going to use the Cayo Perico heist to make most of that $10 million, as it's the fastest moneymaker in GTA Online, but to get the $2.2 million for the Casacca submarine, we're going to have to grind out a bunch of Cluck and Bells and do the entire Los Santos Drug Wars DLC with all 11 missions for that sweet first time money bonus. Needless to say, since you're solo, it's best to do all of this in an invite-only lobby unless you want people with Oppressor MkIIs griefing you before you get your very own. And we'll also need a car for all of this, and there's no better vehicle than the Duke of Death for a brand new account, as it's literally free on Warstock cash and carry. You'll also need a garage to store the car, and your first garage should always be this one, Unit 124 Popular Street, and you can get the $25,000 for this garage by doing a simple stash house. Once you get that, now you're ready to start grinding for your first $2.2 million. I'd like to call this part of the grind Phase 1, and it involves spamming a bunch of Cluck and Bells and doing all 11 Los Santos Drug Wars missions so we can get to the main part of the grind, which is Phase 2 and the Casacca. Cluck and Bell, with the first time completion bonus, should pay you $750,000 on your first run, and each subsequent run after that will be a guaranteed $500,000. Now, since we don't have an Oppressor or a Sparrow helicopter, it is going to take a little over an hour each time that we do this heist, and that's not bad because we only need to do it 3 times for $1.5 million, and then we'll get the remaining cash for our Casacca for the first dose and last dose series of missions, which should pay out approximately $800,000 combined with the first time completion bonus. So approximately 8 hours in total if you factor in the 48-minute cooldown between each Cluck and Bell farm raid. As a quick side note here, remember that we're doing the first dose and last dose for the cash only. Do not buy the Acid Lab equipment right now, as that will waste $750,000 and ruin this speedrun. The Acid Lab can totally be purchased later after you have your Oppressor MkII. Right now, our goal in Phase 1 is just to make $2.2 million and get to the Casacca ASAP, which will then start Phase 2 of our grind. Each Cayo Perico heist will pay $1 million on average, and it should take about 1.5 hours max since we're not using the Sparrow. But if you're efficient with your timings, you can still do it in an hour 20, even with a Duke of Death, and you can use the free dinghy to travel between land and sea. For Cluck and Bell, the way I like to do this is I go with a fast bike instead of a car. On my main, this would be the Hakucho Drag with HSW SW upgrades, but since this is going to be on a new account, the best choice here is the Batty 801RR, which costs just $15,000. If you want cash for the Batty 801RR, there are activities like G's caches, wildlife photography, and junk energy skydives that will give you an easy $100,000 to $200,000 within an hour. But then with your Batty 801, go ahead and do your first Cluck and Bell farm raid. This one's going to take a bit longer than the rest, as you do have to wait between missions for Vincent to call you, and you also have to watch the cutscenes. But once you do your first Cluck and Bell, the cooldown between missions goes away, and you can also skip some of the cutscenes to make it a whole lot faster. The fastest way to do Cluck and Bell without any glitches is by going for location A for your unmarked weapons. Location A will give you the lowest tier weapons, but it's also pretty close to Vincent's lockup in the city, and we're gonna stealth the finale, so it really doesn't matter in the end. And for vehicles, you'll always want to go for the one out in Sandy Shores, also location A, as it's gonna spawn right next to these train tracks, and these tracks are what we're gonna follow to get back to the garage for our getaway car. As you'll see in the finale, we can use our personalized vehicle, so having a crappy getaway car isn't gonna hurt us that much. With the car and weapons sorted out now, the last thing we need to do is make sure that we succeed the stealth check in the final setup mission, which is called Disorganized Crime. This is the most important setup because if you fail this part, you'll have to deal with endlessly spawning waves of enemies in the finale, and it will ruin your whole run as you'll probably die a bunch of times as a new player. So here's how you do it. You can follow the vans and hack their GPS data to get the garage location, then steal the Cluck and Bell disguise for yourself and drive to the depot. Or if you really want to save as much time as possible, you can shave an extra 30 seconds off your run simply by marking one of 3 depot locations on your map. They're all pretty close to each other, and if it's the right one, as soon as you walk up to the garage door, you'll enter inside without needing to hack the vans first. Here's location number 1, here's location number 2, and then here's location number 3. The depot will always be in one of these 3 places. Then, once you get inside, make sure to equip a silenced weapon that you have first, and kill all guards before that red witness meter on the bottom right of your screen fills up. Then wipe the CCTV footage so nobody knows you were here. You'll know that you've completed the stealth check successfully when you get outside, because the game will give you a flatbed truck with some crates on the back. If you don't get the flatbed truck, you know the aggressive approach is locked in. Then, in the finale, once again, equip whatever silenced weapon you have and take the guards out one by one. When you exit that building, the game will give you a 3-star wanted level right out of the gate. But don't worry, we won't have to deal with any cops because we're gonna follow this railway track right here instead of driving on the main highway. If you follow it long enough, you'll get to this logging site right here, and the game will let you call in your personal vehicle. Tell the mechanic to bring your Batty 801RR or Duke of Death, whichever vehicle you prefer. I personally go with the Batty as it's faster, and I continue to stick with the tracks along this path. When you reach this point here, right after the Zancudo River, what you need to do is take a right turn away from the tracks and head down this road in the Grand Sonora Desert. You're on a really fast bike and driving over big hills, which means the level 3 cops won't be able to keep up with you, and you're gonna lose your wanted level very soon. After that, it's just a matter of driving to Vincent's lockup to complete the Cluck and Bell farm heist. Now you'll have your $750,000 with the first time bonus, but there's also a cooldown before you can do the heist again. And what we're gonna do is use this cooldown to do the 11 Los Santos Drug Wars missions. Shouldn't take you more than an hour and a half or so, and you'll receive about $800,000 in total, plus a free Ocelot Virtue, which you unfortunately cannot sell for money, or else that would make the Kazatka purchase a whole lot quicker here. After you complete the Los Santos Drug Wars questline, you should be approximately 4 hours into your run, and here we have a fork in the road with 2 options. Option 1, we could do another Cluck and Bell farm raid for $500,000, or option 2, we could do 3 treasure hunts for an easy $800,000. What I'm gonna do is go with the treasure hunt here, as these can only be done once per character, and they're actually faster than doing a Cluck and Bell run, and they're gonna give you more money in the end, so it's really good for this speed run. So for the first one that we're gonna be doing here, we're gonna take the Navy revolver treasure, for which you'll have to track down and hunt a serial killer. There are 5 clues in total, which you could see on this map featured right on screen, and you have to do them in a sequential order. After you unlock the Navy revolver, go ahead and kill 50 people with it to get a further $250,000 cash bonus. You can do this with regular NPCs or police, just find a busy spot in Los Santos and start murking. The second treasure is the golden double action revolver, and once you unlock this weapon right here, get 50 headshots for another $250,000 in your bank account. Once again, you can do this with regular pedestrians. It doesn't have to be red dot enemies or police. The final treasure here is the stone hatchet, which you can unlock for yourself in both GTA Online and RDR2 by doing 5 bounty targets for mod, and then you could do the super easy 25 kill challenge with the stone hatchet for a quick $250,000. In total, all 3 of these treasures plus their respective kill challenges shouldn't take you more than an hour and a half, and you'll get just over $800,000 for all 3. Combine this with the $750,000 from your first Cluck and Bell farm raid and the $800,000 from the Los Santos Drug Wars missions, and that's $2.35 million right there. And since since we have a BATI 801RR, we can also do the regular time trial for a further $100,000, which won't take you more than 2 minutes to complete. At this point, we played the game for just about 5.5 hours here, and we already have $2.45 million in the bank, which is more than enough cash for that Kasaka submarine. So I guess it's finally time for phase 2. But wait, there's gonna be a change in plans here, because after some quick math, I realized that I was being really dumb earlier, and doing Cayo Perico would be a huge waste of time for a solo player because of 2 big reasons. First off, at this stage, we don't have the Sparrow helicopter, which means Cayo will take a lot longer than usual. And for the Sparrow, we need another $2 million, which means 4 Cluck and Bell missions. So that's another 9 hours once you add in those cooldowns between each Cluck and Bell, and I don't have that sort of time. Remember, we're trying to do this in under 24 hours of gameplay. Secondly, the cooldown for Cayo is a massive 2 hours and 24 minutes for solo players, so it'll take ages to gather the $10 million that we need for our nightclub, plus Terabyte, plus the Oppressor MkII. We're already 5 hours in, so we only have about 19 hours left. And you guys obviously won't be doing this in one single calendar day because you're normal people with lives outside of video games, so you're probably gonna spread it out over the course of a week or so, which is still a really pretty timeline for owning all 3 of these key items on a new account. And so instead of going for the Kasatka, I'm gonna spend $2,010,000 on the actual best grinding method in the game, which is the agency with its Dr. Dre VIP contract. Then what I'm gonna do is buy the accommodation for $275,000. This allows me to fast travel back to the agency after each prep mission just by switching lobbies. This method has a few key advantages over Cayo. You see, Dr. Dre's contract can be done roughly in the same amount of time, excluding the first run, which obviously takes a lot longer because of the cooldowns in between the missions while you're waiting for a call from Franklin, but each subsequent VIP contract can be done in roughly the same amount of time as Cayo for a guaranteed $1.1 million. And you get an agency Super Velito carbon helicopter for free, as well as the SUV fast travel service, both of which are awesome for moving around the map really fast. And finally, the Dr. Dre contract has a cooldown of just 48 minutes, which is literally 1/3 of Cayo's cooldown. So here's what we're gonna do. 1 Dr. Dre VIP contract, then during that 48-minute cooldown, we're gonna do 1 Cluck and Bell farm raid. Then we're gonna repeat this pattern until we get our $10 million. I'm gonna call this 1 cycle. Every time we do a Dr. Dre plus Cluck and Bell farm raid, that's 1 cycle completed. Each cycle of the Dr. Dre plus Cluck and Bell loop gives us $1.6 million and takes roughly 2.5 hours. We need 6 total cycles after the initial Dr. Dre VIP contract, which is gonna take you the longest because what you have to do is the initial meetup and the FIB data recovery missions. Plus, we can't skip any of the cutscenes first time around, so it's approximately 2 hours for the first Dr. Dre contract, plus 6 2.5-hour subsequent cycles. That gives us about 17 hours of grinding, plus the 5 that we already spent during phase 1, so 22 hours in total, which means we're coming in at 2 hours below our 24-hour limit. And I don't want to bore you to death by showing each run, so you'll just have to take my word for it. And the best way to find out for yourself is by creating a new account right now and seeing how fast you can get the Oppressor MkII. Remember, we don't just want an Oppressor MkII with its wimpy machine guns. We want the full fat missile packing version of the Oppressor that everyone loves and everyone fears, which means owning a nightclub plus a terabyte for the upgrades. Otherwise, if I was only targeting a base Oppressor MkII, I could probably remove another 4 or 5 hours from this run. So go ahead, do this challenge for yourself, and let me know how long it took you. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you guys did go on to enjoy it, or if you just found it helpful, make sure to drop a like on it. Plus, consider subscribing to the channel if you guys are new and you want to see more GTA Online content like this. Also, feel free to check out some of my social media, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, specifically twitch.tv/HazardousHDTV for more GTA Online live streams. That is the GTA 6 waiting room over there. Anyways, hopefully you all have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next GTA 5 online video. Adios, amigos.